We saw a huge flight out of the U.S. dollar into other safe havens, one of those being the Swissy. Dollar Swiss saw one of its biggest moves since the Swiss depegged in 2015. A 4% move into the Swiss franc is really starting to pose some questions. Are we fleeing U.S. assets and possibly repatriating them into other currencies? The Swiss was a big mover. Yen was a big mover as well. But take a look. This move is not. This move is continuing to extend, Tom. The euro up nearly 1% so far in the overnight session as we begin to question whether the dollar is acting as a safe haven and if this is possibly permanent damage to the dollar as a safe haven assets. I want to show you one chart which I thought very surprising is that normally in the past when we see huge bouts of volatility in the FX market, when we see the VIX spiking, it normally goes hand in hand with a surge for dollar assets. We have definitely not seen that in the last week. If anything, we've seen the exact opposite.
We're seeing a breakdown of some of the fundamental assumptions underpinning global finance, and we'll see to what extent that becomes crystallized. What a week it's been, Valerie. We'll take a beat and just kind of take a breath. And you've been front and centre on driving our focus, again, around the routes in the debt market and what that could portend. Just as you wrap up what we've seen this week in terms of the size, the scale, the historical context, talk us through where we've landed.
Look, historical swings in all markets, Tom. I want to say that if you're looking at the equity market, you're missing the main point. The equity market was actually up on the week, Tom. The S&P 500 had its best week since Election Day, but that is completely missing the point. You flip on, take a look at this next chart. We're seeing a flee from dollar assets when it comes to the dollar and Treasury yields delinking. This is normally something that is only seen in emerging market economies, not an economy that is known as the safe haven status, that is known as the world's reserve currency, that we see Treasury yields rising alongside a huge crash in the dollar. This is posing big questions over whether Trump's trade policy is perhaps going to put this safe haven reserve currency status in peril. And with that, the big structural demand for Treasuries, many people scratching their heads this morning, thinking that if the U.S.-China trade relationship comes to a standstill, so does China's recycling of those dollars into the Treasury market. And does that perhaps put the U.S. deficit on a unsustainable path?